Started. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, August 8th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5 card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, we've got here our Queen of Pentacles in its upright, in combination with our Five of Swords in its upright. So before we had our technical difficulties, because I did need to stop the live because of some technical issues, we were talking about working through this particular energy right now. It is a rough go. And why? Because we've got so many planets right now currently in retrograde. It can create a lot of work in relationality to feeling energetic pressure, particularly, and it was so funny too, because I was literally talking about this right before like everything went sideways, particularly as it relates to the things that you have a tendency of energetically leaning on. This is what we can expect with retrograde periods, right? It's a lot of that space. And I got to kind of define this. You know, one of the things that's so difficult right now with this energy is it's not only the fact that we have so many of the planets that are retrograding in Aries. So it's not just the fact that things sometimes feel like they're getting harder, but it also feels like it can take that, like it can really focus or pinpoint upon the spaces or places that you already have very little patience for. But one of the things that we think that is helpful right now to keep in mind, and I do feel like this is kind of the advantage of the fact that we're moving towards that Aquarian full moon, is when we're navigating moments of frustration, the ability to be able to look at something and add that like dose of hope, if you will. It allows us to be able to allow creativity to help us find new ways of innovating upon things. I'm going to say this again. This is why I feel that the retrograde that we're currently experiencing, the fact that it is in Leo, is actually helpful to us. Because the Mercury, just to reaffirm, Mercury retrogrades are not here to create frustration. I know they sometimes feel like that, but the ability to look at something and understand what needs to be adapted or what needs to be adjusted actually helps us fortify and to be able to do something better. I'm definitely going to stress that, like, especially as we're moving towards this Aquarian full moon, make sure that you're bringing that level of degree or compassion of patience to yourself as you're working through a lot of this energetic heaviness. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like, a lot of the work that we're seeing, it's like, I want to say, it's like almost the context of being able to find that energetic stabilization point that allows you to be able to see something that you could be doing in a better form or fashion. Center card, and this is having a big impact depending on where we find ourselves on the frequency cycles. Now, for masculine and feminine energy and separation, one of the things that we were articulating and talking about before we had to take that slight pause was the fact that this is effectively the energetic closing out of what may be articulated as unhealthy energetic cycles. It's the observation that those processes, those same cycles that we find, what feel like they're fortifying and nourishing, are things that feel like they're energetically supportive to us. They help us innovate. They help us adapt. They help us be able to figure out better ways of doing things. But this is why I keep on seeing and I keep on articulating the fact that we're going through a lot of the temperance lessons for the energy and separation. That observation of what is achievable via mutual effort, the ability to recognize and identify not just the embodied manifestation goals that are articulated in terms of saying something that one desires, but being able to energetically articulate upon what one is trying to do in a different way. This is what I keep on seeing as allowing for a lot of these energetic relationships to move forward at this time. And this is why I'm going to tell you right now, if these are circumstances or situations where another person was trying to allow time to intervene and do the healing for them, this is what I think is maybe the hardest part in some of these energetic cycles. Because one of the things I keep on getting with the idea, with the perspective of Saturn and Neptune retrograding together, it's a reminder, like, Saturn does not fix things for us. Saturn gives us energetic perspective. And that's why I keep on seeing that at the same time, like, I want to show you this, at the same time that we have a lot of that stabilization that's occurring, right? A lot of that energetic fortification and relationality to being able to understand and see what feels tangible and workable. We also see a lot of the closing out of the cycles that's occurring right now with the Five of Swords. Because again, if these are modalities where another person was trying to put distance between something, expecting that the desire or the need for another person was going to heal something instead of doing the progressive work, that's where I see a lot of that closure that is coming through. Now, center card for today's spread we have coming through right now. Boom, we've got our King of Cups in its reversal. Now, for energy right now, moving deeper into divine union, this is what I was articulating upon about the fact that we see that I would not be surprised right now if there's something that's occurring during this retrograde period that is advancing a lot of energetic cycles forward. There's something really important to be identified in relationality to seeing how much the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now has progressed. You'll recall that a lot of these relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now were forming between the time of the solstice up until the time that Mercury and Venus were stationing direct behind Neptune. We were articulating that those were magician partnerships. And one of the reasons that we are identifying those as magician partnerships is the mutual appreciation that the counterparts were finding in one another that was reframing the past in ways that they couldn't see before. Now, what's important about that is, are we seeing relationships where energy is seeing something from the past and rushing back to it? No, these are the energies that are fortified in the perception of the healthy relationship that builds into that context of understanding. And that's why I said there might be a little bit of that surprise energy that's coming through right now for a lot of those relationships. I would not be surprised if there are relationships right now that are advancing their own energetic timelines, because if these are the relationships that were effectively like, it's almost like, I feel like the energy is just like, it's like the clarity that they see between themselves, right? Like, look at this. Like, this is saying to me, like, this is almost like energetic vindication to a certain extent, right? It's the clarification between counterparts that allows for that space of feeling energetically vindicated. And what I like to see right now, and this is why it's having a different impact on masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Because even though we see that there is an energetic reversal here, this is actually what we want to identify in a healthy counterpart connection. Because the observation of being able to recognize and identify, to feel that stabilization point in terms of what they're working on, this is the feminine that's in the healthy relationship that feels that energetic stabilization point in being able to be their authentic self. While for masculine, this could be a lot of the masculine energy that feels like they're going through some deep inner child healing right now, because it's a masculine that feels like they're able to be in the full breadth of their own emotionality and feel energetically supported by the feminine that's able to maintain that same point of energetic stabilization. Now, reaching us into the energy deep within divine union, this is just a rearticulation of the fact that this energy right now is hardest for the energy that's deep within divine union. Can I please get 2 cards to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 9 of Cups in its upright, in combination with our Hanged Man in its reversal. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about, because for a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union, working through some of this frustration, it's not changing the shape of the relationship. It's not articulating or adjusting that. I keep on seeing that, like, for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, like working through the frustration and then just not being in the context of projecting it out onto counterpart. I keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy that's working on the ability to be more energetically comprehensive. Because as we said, like, one of the things that we see that's happening right now with this Aquarian full moon that's coming up, it's the observation that when we're able to navigate frustration but looking towards it for solutions, we see that productivity that can occur. We see that adaptability. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, that observation of being able to bring different insights or clarification to partnership, being able to talk through things in different ways, bringing new idea energy into the relationship. And I keep on seeing this is either finding new ways to energetically communicate within partnership or simultaneously being able to have an energetic breakthrough in relationality to how you're doing something and finding a new way of doing it effectively. Like that is a little bit of the healing that's coming through this full moon cycle. Continuing to get clarification right now between our Queen of Pentacles in combination with our Five of Swords and its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Cups. Now, this is the thing that I think this is the thing that we keep on working through right now that feels like I keep on describing this. And like the overarching message that we're seeing right now that's coming through with like all of this energy in retrograde is understanding, and this is what I meant in terms of the energy right now in separation, becoming more energetically comprehensive. Because I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy right now that is working through these processes, the energy in separation, I keep on getting, like the one thing that keeps on coming through really strongly with this retrograde is the difference between progress and pining. What is the difference between progress and pining? Being able to progress upon something is being able to turn towards a situation that is difficult and being able to bring a new insight. It's being able to bring a new point of clarity. It's being able to articulate and identify what was energetically wrong in order so that one can do something in a better fashion. Now, what's interesting to notate here is I see a few different modalities that are happening right now for a lot of the energy that is in separation working through these temperance lessons, particularly and especially because, as I said, if this has been energy that is in separation, that has been focusing on their own energetic stability, right? Like look at this energy that we're seeing here. When we are prioritizing the care of the self, like this is the flourishing that we often identify that occurs in separation. It's the observation. Like I need to point, and this is why we talk about the significance of working through the frequencies. Because I keep on hearing separation versus being deep within divine union. It's not the space wherein you need one in order to facilitate healing, right? The observation of what one is able to recognize and identify. There is a stabilization point that's occurring right now for a lot of the energy in separation that may be creating that space of seeing the past in a different way. And this is why we don't try to create relationships where we feel that the context of time is going to create that adjustment point. Because I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, if there is something, if this is energy in separation, and again, much is characteristic, what's very characteristic for energy during retrograde periods, seeing something either metaphysically, spiritually, or tangibly coming back from the past, I almost see the energy seeing something from the past, not seeing that point of progress and feeling energetically secure as it relates to the direction that they're headed towards. While simultaneously, for a lot of these energies right now, I see new relationships that are forming, right? And this is what we're seeing for a lot of the energy in separation right now. Let's just talk through it. Because for feminine energy, this is the observation of recognizing that a fixed point of need is a standard. That it's not needy to have a fixed point of need so long as you're able to articulate and identify what that is. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy right now, that is energy that is feeling very secure in terms of where they find themselves in separation. Because again, when one is in separation, it's not the question about doing something wrong. I am even seeing that there's some energy right now that's in separation that is healing from the fallacy that being in separation is a negative, right? Because I feel like a lot of that energy is working on the completeness of the self, but understanding that that journey is something that happens within in order to facilitate that healing without. Because I keep on seeing that as that stabilization point comes, this could even be a full moon that kind of brings a lot of those understandings as to what was missing in terms of past relationships. Now, for feminine, this is feeling like a lot of the feminine energy coming into the modality of honoring the self, building into that level or degree of stabilization that allows new things to begin. For masculine, I see a lot of masculine right now in separation working on that inner child healing, the adaptability or the ability to understand that emotions do not break relationships, but rather the ability to convey the emotions, the ability to be able to articulate them in ways that feel like they're energetically productive. This is why I see a lot of these new relationships that are coming together right now having this time of very, very heartfelt conversations. And I got to tell you, like, what's beautiful about some of these relationships that I'm seeing that are coming together right now is they are articulated and amplified on the fact that they are choosing one another. And why do we see the fact that they are choosing one another? Because in the context, often, right, for a lot of the relationships that are coming together right now, having a modality or experience that is occurring where it's like the past kind of welcomes back to us. Like, this is the energy that's almost reaffirming the energetic direction that they're moving towards, with the observation of seeing something from the past that is reaffirmed in the energetic observation of the direction that they've been headed towards. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, like working through that. It's not easy. It's energetically frustrating. And I can see even now, like, a lot of the energy right now articulating upon their frustrations. But what did I say is happening right now for a lot of those temperance relationships? It is the audacity that energetically fortifies the partnership, because when we feel audacity for the same things, we recognize that we have the same empathy towards them. While we see right now for a lot of the energy moving deeper into divine union, clarification between our Five of Swords in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. Can I please get one card to clarify? We have here our King of Swords in its upright. And that's what I meant. I keep on seeing there's something that I'm identifying that's happening right now for energy that's moving deeper into divine union. Some point of observation, some understanding, some affirmation or understanding, the clarity, right? And you'll recall and remember that for a lot of these relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now, these were those magician partnerships that were finding the mutual appreciation in counterpart that allows one to be able to observe what was energetically missing in past connection. I keep on getting that there's almost a little bit of this surprise energy that's coming through right now with this with this Aquarian full moon. Right? The ability or the identification point of advancing a manifestation goal, because something about that work that we saw, like the observation of being able to identify and recognize what was missing in the past. This is a lot of the energy that's like looking towards the deepening of an energetic connection, not in the effort of seeing the relationship change, but almost just feeling the stability and the security of the relationship, that moving it deeper into divine union, I keep on hearing it almost feels second nature, because it doesn't feel like something that's going to change. It just feels like the announcement, if you will, of what they're already feeling energetically internally. This brings us to a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union. Clarification between our King of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We've got here our Four of Wands in its upright. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, I keep on seeing it's working through frustration and taking creative approaches to navigating things that is allowing for their own energetic breakthrough. I feel like I keep on hearing like there's a lot of this. There's a lot of, I want to say like there's a lot of like I keep on hearing working through problems in new ways that is allowing for the adaptability of creativity is what I keep on seeing. I'm going to kind of stress this right now. I'm giving like a deep message right now to the energy that's deep within divine union. A lot of this energy that we're seeing deep within divine union right now, you'll recall, were those chariot relationships. And those were the relationships that were forming from between the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune up until the time of the Mars stationing direct earlier this year. For a lot of those relationships, the ability of working through something, finding that stabilization point, being able to articulate and identify what one is working on or what one is trying to do in a better way, everything I keep on seeing is like applying energetic rigor to things. Now, this is why, and this is just to show you qualitatively why being anywhere on these frequencies is not positive or negative, because this energy particularly is most frustrating for the energy deep within divine union right now, because being able to overcome energetic hurdles, looking at old problems and finding new solutions for them. I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of that context of adaptability, working through something and like having those energetic breakthroughs. There's something to be said right now as it relates to, I keep on seeing unconventional approaches to old problems, bringing new ideas to relationship, or even I keep on seeing like bringing new perspectives to situations that is allowing its own degree of clarity. And everything I keep on seeing right now is, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, that ability of being able to articulate upon something or speak towards something in a way that you haven't before. Like that's the way that this full moon is providing its own context of breakthrough. Continuing to get clarification right now between our Nine of Cups in its upright and our Hangman in its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify? Wow, we've got the Queen of Wands in its reversal. So this is nice because the one thing I will identify that we're seeing here right now is there's a lot of alignment that we're identifying that's occurring right now between masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Now, I want to show you where I'm seeing this energy right now, so you can, so you can get a better sense of what we're identifying. For feminine energy, we've got a combination that's occurring right now between the Queen of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. So what's really lovely that we're seeing right now in relationality to this is the feminine energy working, I keep on seeing, working through energetic frustrations, but finding ways to fortify through them. For a lot of the feminine energy right now, a lot of that ability to be able to articulate upon something that was energetically bothering them or speaking upon something in a way that frustrates them. Like this is beautiful because I keep on hearing for a lot of the feminine energy, this is the feminine energy that's working to understand. I keep on hearing for feminine energy, I keep on hearing there's something kind of conversation that's happening right now between the difference between standards and neediness is all I keep on seeing. What is the difference that we identify between standards and neediness? When we have energetic standards, we have a fixed point of need, right? It's the identification point in being able to recognize and identify like what our own energetic standard is. And what's beautiful about that as well is I see a lot of the feminine energy that is working through the context of understanding empathy. Now, what's interesting about the empathy that we're seeing right now for feminine, I keep on seeing like feminine is going through an energetic process where they're understanding that courtesy does not require niceness to all things, right? Because courtesy is being able to honor energetic standards. So all I keep on seeing is for a lot of the feminine energy right now, this is either working through problems internally or externally. But, and I keep on seeing, there's something about, and I love this is often what we have happen when we've got this like Aquarian full moon energy to a certain extent. It's being able to take logical approaches to old problems. Now, the one thing that we need to like work through is often when we're going through energetic cycles like this, and I need to stress this, especially when we're going through Aquarian cycles, the desire to energetically disassociate tends to rise, right? Aquarian cycles are often ones that almost like feel to a certain extent like they can trigger us because it's almost like the feeling of overwhelm that requires or wants to have that state of pulling back. But what we like about this is this is saying to me, like, this is a feminine energy that's working on being very fortified, right? Like, this is the energy of the feminine that recognizes and understands what it is that they're trying to do better. And so for a lot of the feminine energy right now, even in the observation of a vulnerability, like, that becomes its own source of strength to a certain extent, right? Because it's like the feminine energy that's able to identify something that they could be doing better. And through that, like, I keep on hearing, it's like the feminine having emboldened conversations, talking through their vulnerabilities instead of reacting to them, right? It almost feels like a lot of that, I keep on hearing, it's like it's a lot of that like busyness energy, right? It's like and I keep on hearing, like, when feminine energy is able to apply solutions to problems, like, that's the feminine energy that is standing on their energetic business, right? Like, that's effectively like the message that we're getting here with a lot of the feminine energy. And so this is interesting because this is the feminine energy becoming comprehensive by being able to stand on business, which is the busyness of the feminine that becomes more comprehensive. For masculine energy right now, I got to just show you this. And again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. I see a lot of the masculine energy working through inner child healing, but in a very profound way. Because what we're effectively identifying for a lot of the masculine energy that's doing that inner child healing is, and this is just a reminder, like, and I got to say this even now, this is masculine energy that is recognizing that just like shadow work is not a great name for like what we identify in terms of working through a version of the self, I almost see like masculine energy that may have previously shied away from inner child work because they're healing the word. They're healing their own association to the word child is what I'm getting. Like, this is almost masculine energy that, like, if they hear the word inner child healing, and I keep on hearing, like, they pull away, like, that in itself is the observation of the masculine, like, understanding the depth of the wound within them, right? Because it's the understanding that when we're going through inner child healing does not mean like that thing that happened like way back in a time long ago in a galaxy far, far away. It could be what happened last week. It could be what happened last month. Inner child healing is the identification and articulation point in being able to see something that one could not see before. And this is why we talk about the fact that inner child healing is continuous, because inner child healing is effectively holding the version of the self that knew less than the context of the self that you find yourself in today. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy doing that work, recognizing and identifying that. This is like, I think that that's interesting because like, I feel like this is almost the masculine energy that's doing that work to be able to embrace the not only the inner child, but the aversion to the word, right? And I feel like that's the thing we always notice. It's like when we start being attentive to the things that we cringe at, we don't just move away from them. We ask ourselves why. And when we start asking ourselves why, we get somewhere. So I would not be surprised if there's not a lot of like very, very deep conversations right now that are happening. And what I think is really important right now, I just need to stress this. This is what I meant in relationality to a day like this, feeling very much like a day where there's energy that's moving deeper into divine union and energy that's potentially falling back into separation. And I keep on hearing it's not even falling back into separation, but the reaffirmation of energetic separation, because there's a conversation that I keep on hearing that's occurring right now, which is the understanding. And I keep on hearing it's like Saturn. I keep on hearing Saturn's teaching. Anyone who thought that they were trying to get Saturn to do work for them is being taught a lesson by Saturn, which is the observation of saying that time does not fix things. Like I keep on hearing Saturn saying in some way, shape, or form that Saturn's job is not to be an energetic repairman, that we can't look to Saturn to fix our problems, because the thing that Saturn does is Saturn is a guide. Saturn brings perspective. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, if these are situations or circumstances where someone's coming back to another person with the expectation that Saturn was going to like clear something up for them, it's almost like the energy coming into the space of having a rude awakening. But at the same time, this is why I see a lot of these new relationships that are forming right now. What is happening right now? They're being fortified in the audacity of the perception of potentially energetic connections that don't feel like there is mutual effort, right? Because when another person tries to put time between something, it's the energy that's like, again, working. And that's why I keep on identifying that these temperance relationships are starting and having such solid foundations, because it's a conversation that says everything is possible, but the work must be mutual, because without that mutual work, then it requires another person to do all the heavy lifting. This brings us to the energy right now moving deeper into divine union. Clarification coming through right now between our Ace of Cups in its upright in combination with our King of Swords in its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify, please? We've got here our Queen of Cups. Wow. Our Queen of Cups in its upright. There's something really, I got to tell you, there are a ton of court cards out right now. There is just a very large swath of court cards that we see that are arriving on the table right now. And we've got a lot of counterpart connections that are forming right now, particularly and especially with that Queen of Cups in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. This is what I meant in terms of some energy right now. I keep on saying I would not be surprised if this full moon cycle brings a lot of positive surprises in relationality of energy moving deeper into divine union right now, because everything I keep on seeing in a lot of these relationships is just feeling that energetic fortification point, right? I keep on hearing like it's a lot of that space in terms of like I keep on getting comprehensive and fortified, because the observation and being able to recognize and identify what one is working on doing in a different way, like the adaptability in terms of seeing something and being able to articulate upon it. This is the energy that is moving something into a deepening connection, not because it's going to change the relationship, but because it's like the energy that already feels, right? And this is what we talk about with alignment, right? It's almost like the energy that's putting less weight on when that might be, because the energy feels so secure in what they have together. So it's just like, it's a lot of, I keep on hearing like, it's almost like, I feel like it's almost like the energy that can tell that they're moving deeper into divine union, because they're not even talking about moving deeper into partnership trepidatiously. There's almost like, I keep on hearing it's like the energetic delight that they're almost like teasing. I keep on saying like they're teasing each other with it in the best way possible, because they feel like it's already energetically occurred. Continuing to get clarification. And I just want to reaffirm to you. You remember how rigorous a lot of that energy was just like about a few weeks ago. Like there's a lot of that work that I'm seeing here that is like the articulation of being able to talk about what it is that's energetically like what it is that they have their heart set upon. Now, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is just like, again, a reamplification of what is so rigorous at this time. Because for a lot of the energy right now, I'm going to say the hardest space that we're seeing a lot of this energy is the energy deep within divine union. Clarification right now between our King of Swords in combination with our Four of Wands and its upright. We've got two cards coming out right now. And we've got here our Seven of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Justice card in its upright. So let's talk a bit about what's going on right now for the energy deep within divine union. So as I mentioned, a lot of this retrograde energy, right? Like I need to describe it to a certain extent. A lot of the retrograde energy can almost like, I want to say like, it can feel like it puts pressure on things that are continuing to be ongoing problems, right? That's what I keep on seeing. It's like working through the energetic pressure of things. But that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, allowing that Aquarian full moon to guide someone through it, being able to be adaptable, being able to articulate upon something in a different way, allowing for that, I keep on seeing, allowing for that easement point by which we're able to express a possibility. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through that, this is having that energetic point of productivity. It's working through something and being able to bring a new defined sense of clarity to something. It's being able to articulate upon something in a way that you haven't before. So I keep on seeing, like, I feel like this is the adaptability that we're seeing right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, because this is the energy that's able to identify a problem in order to articulate upon a balanced solution. So for a lot of the energy doing that work, I just keep on seeing it's that productivity by which something that becomes possible, that is amplified or articulated upon taking new approaches to old problems. Continuing to get clarification here between our Four of Wands in its upright in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. Can I please get one card to clarify? We've got here our Knight of Pentacles in its upright. I got to tell you guys right now, there are so many court cards in this reading right now. It's really wild. If you have an opportunity, make sure that you head over to the Substack after this reading to be able to see the full spread, because it's very, like, I keep on seeing, like, it's working through practicality in new ways is all I keep on getting here. And I feel like a lot of it, and I even want to describe, like, working through energetic frustration and being able to identify and articulate upon what one is trying to do in a better way. I just feel like there's a lot, I keep on hearing, there's a lot of pragmatism that's coming through during this full moon cycle, because I keep on seeing and I feel like this is the thing that we want to be energetically wary of. You know, the thing about the thing about the Aquarian full moon energy that we always have to be conscientious about in relationality to things, and is when we are too focused on the self, it distorts our perception of what's energetically happening around us, right? And so I keep on seeing that there's something really beautiful that's happening right now for a lot of the energy that's working through working through these relationship cycles as it relates to what identifies and feels like it is energetically supportive. So everything I keep on seeing right now, and I just want to show you the four cards that we have in the third tier right now. We've got the Queen of Cups here, and we've got the Knight of Pentacles, okay? And we've also got the Seven of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Justice card. So what does that effectively tell us in relationality to, working through practicality? I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now. The identification point of working, I keep on hearing, I would not be surprised if there's some relationships right now that are I keep on getting this. I see some relationships that have been coming together for some time and almost anticipating. I want to say almost anticipating a return of a past energetic connection. I almost see some energy right now. I've been reading on this for days. Someone saying you could set a clock to it, right? The observation of an unhealthy cycle to such an extent that the ability to anticipate someone energetically returning, but not in a way that feels like it's progressive, but almost trying to move back into an energetic cycle that feels like it's unbalanced. This is what I meant with a lot of those temperance relationships, because the temperance relationships, how are these energies healing right now? They're working through the pathwork of understanding what it means to be in an energy, a relationship where we are embodying manifestations. Now, what is the difference between the manifestation that we articulate versus the one that we embody. It's really easy, right? It's really easy to articulate a manifestation goal. It's really easy to espouse it, to allow the breath to expel it, right? But I keep on hearing expelling a manifestation goal is not enough in order to energetically achieve it. In order to energetically achieve a manifestation goal, we also have to embody it. So when we're working towards a manifestation goal, first we expel it, first we articulate it, we say it with our face, okay? And then we embody it. We identify and recognize what we need to do to move towards it. And so this is why I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy right now coming together, these relationships that are starting to build, like to come together right now, they are the observation of the difference of being, what do they keep on hearing? They're getting exhausted. They are exhausted at expulsions. And what does it mean by them saying they're getting exhausted by expulsions? They're getting exhausted. This is the energy that has grown tired. Like they're effectively tired of energy that articulates, right? That articulates a manifestation goal, but then doesn't do anything in accordance to it. So again, you can't say that one desires a healthy relationship and say, I'm so sad I can't find it, but then you're not prioritizing the energetic relationship. You can't say, oh, I'm so tired that I can't find somebody or do something, but then not feel the desire to be able to invest the energetic effort towards it. And so this is why I keep on seeing what's amazing right now for some of these relationships that are forming at this time is they are protecting. They're not just protecting their peace, they're protecting the energetic counterpart's peace, right? Because this is the energy that is identifying and recognizing, particularly during this retrograde cycle, the energetic return potentially of past experiences, right? Past connections that have that tendency. But this is the energy. I feel like this is the energy that's like almost working with each other, like creating that energetic force field, because that's what the healthy relationship is, right? It's the energy that builds that energetic force field, because not only do they care about each other, but they're very energetically protective of each other's healing. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through that and embodying that work, like this is the energy I told you. If these are experiences where someone from the past is trying to come back towards them, but not having put in the effort to heal something, just expecting Saturn to have done the work for them, this is the energy of the relationships that are now being fortified by the audacity of the energy that would dare try to come back and try to expect another person to be pining, which is not energetically healthy, instead of thriving, which is the space by which we recognize and identify and hold our energetic standards. So that's why I keep on seeing that for any of I keep on hearing, these are the energetic relationships. Like these are a lot of the energies of these are the temperance relationships, because they are coming into stronger foundation in relationality to the rude awakening. But the rude awakening that we're seeing is the rude awakening in terms of identifying another's audacity, expecting that another person was sitting there waiting for them, right? Like waiting for someone to come back instead of moving towards their manifestation goal. Because this is also the energy that understands that a healthy manifestation goal is always patient, never waiting, which means we always allow patience to one another, but we don't create the context of having to wait for another person to decide that they want the same things that we do. A lot of energetic balance that we see is arriving right now in these relationships. Continuing to get clarification, I already have the card here between our Queen of Cups, our Seven of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Justice card. We've got here our Six of Swords in its reversal. So what are we identifying and recognizing that is occurring right now? For a lot of the energy moving deeper into divine union, this same observation, if you will, right? The same observation, being able. So what I want to kind of show you is what is happening right now for the energy that is coming together right now. This is the energy that is healing by prioritizing their energetic standards. I love to see the Knight of Pentacles in combination with the Queen of Cups, because the Knight of Pentacles in the combination with the Queen of Cups, like look at the relationships that are coming together right now. This is again more working on that temperance energy, right? Consistency meets emotional stability, right? Like working through something and allowing the context of being energetically productive, with feminine doing that same work, right? The mutual work that allows for everything to be energetically possible. This then brings us into a lot of the energy right now, moving deeper into divine union. This is why I see that for a lot of that energy moving into deeper into divine union right now, like that modality of concentrated effort, the ability to articulate upon, the ability to be able to recognize and identify. I keep on seeing the reason that these energies right now are almost like, I keep on hearing they're teasing. They're almost like teasing each other with the context of moving deeper into partnership. But the reason that they're teasing each other is because they know that it doesn't change what's energetically between them, right? And I keep on hearing it's like when you can tease upon something, it's because you're navigating it playfully, right? It's almost like the energy that's like that's in that space where they're like, I keep on hearing, and I think that this is why it feels so healing for a lot of energy right now that's going through that work, because you'll remember that these are magician partnerships. And I want to just kind of bring you back to some of the work that some of those magician partnerships were doing that are moving deeper into divine union right now. Remember how we articulated that a lot of that energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, the reason that we articulate them as magician partnerships is because they are healing in recognition of the authenticity of the self, being able to identify and recognize and appreciate their own self and coming into their authenticity. I have to stress how much of a monumental move that like moment that was for those energies, because those energies did that in the context of another person trying to put them down. A lot of those energies were healing from a situation or circumstance where another person kept on saying to them that the reason that they would not go towards them in the context of a relationship is because the energy either hadn't earned it or was not perfect. So you can see why there's something about the ability to tease each other with the idea of going into partnership that feels like it's so healing, because I keep on hearing when we're teasing, we tease upon something that we know to be true, right? We tease upon something that we know that we would never do to one another. That's the difference between being energetically playful, because I keep on hearing the energy says, I can tease you because you know I would never do that to you. Right? And that's why the space by which it feels so restorative is almost like healing, particularly as it relates to if these are experiences with relationships or situations where another person used to dangle the possibility of a deepening commitment to try to change another person via the energetic behavior. Right? Like this is why that, I keep on hearing like this is why that teasing feels so energetically restorative, because it's helping the energy identify the difference between energy that says, I tease you with something you know I'm going to give you, right? It's like I keep on hearing the energy saying, I tease you with something you know I'm going to give you, because I can be energetically playful with it, as opposed to healing. And in that moment, healing and recovering from moments where another person used to dangle a possibility to try to change behavior, but without any intention of ever delivering upon what they were effectively dangling before another person. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Wands, swords in its reversal, in combination with our Justice card, in combination with our Knight of Pentacles in its upright. Can I please get one card to clarify? We've got here the Hierophant in its reversal. And this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy moving deeper into divine union right now, like I keep on seeing that this type of energy is most frustrating. It's most frustrating right now for the energy that's deep within divine union, because the observation and the recognition of adaptability, it's almost like I keep on hearing it puts pressure on the partnership, because it's not the fact that the partnership changes within it, but it's the identification point and being able to take unorthodox approaches to new problems, being able to find that adaptability point, being able to have a different perspective, working through something in a way that allows one to see different possibilities. So I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union that is like working through those circumstances, this is just a reminder, and I've been writing about this right now over on the Substack, that frustration plus hope equals creativity. Like when we're able to bring hope towards frustration, we can find creative solutions to old problems. And that's what I effectively see is happening right now for a lot of that energy deep within divine union, that ability of energetically adapting, being very conscientious, like having hope for the self, looking, I keep on hearing a problem is an opportunity waiting to happen, right? The experience of being able to recognize and identify something and then being able to see a solution on the other side of it. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, like it's allowing like the Aquarian full moon to help you see better ways through something that may have been a perpetual hurdle. Continuing to get clarification right now. And I feel like one of the things that we're identifying here, and I have to stress this, the hardest thing that we're seeing right now for a lot of that energy is the same work that we saw for the energy moving deeper into divine union. You'll recall that for the energy moving deeper into divine union, like over the last few days, we saw that last week was very hard, right? We saw that last week was like working through something in a way that really like felt like it was shaking the energy coming into divine union to the core. But what was beautiful about that is we saw and observed that for a lot of the energy right now, moving deeper into divine union, like that observation of being able to see something from the past with clarity was showing how strong the energetic relationship is. So too, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, like that observation of being able to do something in a way that you haven't done it before, being able to articulate upon an idea that you haven't thought of. I keep on hearing like there's something important to be said about that perspective of being able to I keep on getting being expositional as it relates to being able to identify and recognize what is energetically possible. And I feel like that's what I meant in terms of like making sure that you're working through to a certain extent, allowing that hope. And this is what I meant about Mercury retrograding in Leo right now, helping with a lot of frustration, because what is Mercury retrograding is not here to break things. It's here to help us find like better ways of doing things. But sometimes we have to have pressure on the things that are not working in order to see, right? In order to have that ingenuity, in order to have that energetic achievement point. So if you're feeling frustrated right now, I want you to bring like your genuineness and your hope into a situation, because again, frustration plus that genuine hope is where we find ingenuity, right? Continuing to get clarification, the final card for today's spread between our Six of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Hierophant in its reversal. We've got here our Star card in its reversal. Now, one of the greatest difficulties that we're experiencing with, I need to just stress this, with energy like we're having now, is it can do a real number on the things that we feel energetically vulnerable about, right? It's a lot of that space that I want to say like make us feel extremely vulnerable. But here's the thing about it. How we handle our vulnerability is a good demarcation point on how we're trying to heal, right? Because when we're feeling vulnerable, I need to point this out. When we're feeling vulnerable, And then we get defensive, right? The ego always wants to be reactive in relationality to feeling that vulnerability point, right? The ego kind of wants to come into that space of always lashing out. But when we're able to identify, and here's the thing that's also important, and this is why even when we're doing readings, and this is the separation, right? And this is why I always tell you, like the separation that we have in terms of this being a collective reading versus how this may impact you personally is very much articulated upon having to take these lessons and recognize how they apply in your own personal experience right now. So one of the major messages that we're getting right now is understanding that it's okay to feel vulnerable about things. We're supposed to feel vulnerable about things, right? Like that's the the amplification of what we care about is most articulated in the context of what we are vulnerable and how we express something. But that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through that, the observation in both how we hold our own vulnerability and also how we navigate others' vulnerability, it's working through the context of the difference between being nice and compassionate. Right? Because sometimes when we're compassionate, it does not require us to be nice, right? Like I'm going to tell you right now, this is the type of energy of having a hard conversation, right? Because it's like the compassion that it takes to have a hard conversation is the ability to understand, is the building blocks of something being able to be done in a better fashion, right? And that's why, again, our own fragility, like when we talk about moving into warrior energy, it's not the space of understanding or recognizing surrender, but it's understanding and identifying what we can do in a better way to be energetically fortified upon things that we feel vulnerable about. And that's why, again, when we're feeling vulnerable, right? And we lash out with that vulnerability. We take it out on someone else, right? There's a big tendency of doing that. Like that's what the ego wants to do. Like it's like the ego loves doing that because the ego is built to be the body's defense mechanism, right? And here's the thing that's important. And this is why it's really important that we have a healthy understanding and relationship to our ego. It's not about shedding the ego entirely. It's having an ego that you're proud of. Because often, and we've all experienced this, sometimes you're really, really upset by something, right? And then you say to another person and say, am I valid in being upset by that? And then we build the healthy communication with someone that says, no, you've got every reason to be energetically feel vulnerable about that, right? You got to be able to be in the space of being able to recognize and identify what it is that you're trying to do in a better fashion. This is what allows us to be fortified in relationality to the context of the self. Now, this brings us to working through the vulnerability of the self that sometimes feels like it's more energetically destabilizing, right? Because those can often be those modalities or those moments where we feel like we're overly questioning ourselves or we feel like we're energetically lost. So the definition in being able to articulate and recognize and understand what we feel vulnerable about and why is effectively the best way to be able to effectively check our own egos is what we basically get to, right? Because it's the identification point that we check upon which we feel vulnerable about to make sure that it is something that we are not overly internalizing, right? Because when we are not checking that, then sometimes the experience, the thing that we often come into, and you're going to potentially see a lot of this happening right now during this period, is the modality or the experience or expression of being overly invested in one's own perspective. And what occurs when we are too overly invested in one's own perspective? We lose the ability to see and emotionally understand those that are around us. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, that ability, like allowing this moon I keep on hearing, allowing this moon not to be one that you pretend that you don't have vulnerability, right? It's not the space by which you shake something off and say, I'm fine. Because I keep on hearing, nothing is ever worse and we're like, I'm fine, when we're clearly not, right? Because that's often like the desire to energetically disassociate. But being able to be productive through our vulnerability allows the ability of finding energetic solutions towards how we navigate something going forward. So I'm going to tell you right now, like working through a lot of those experiences, like building into the space of that. Like I feel like, and that's the thing we have to be conscientious about with so many of these planets in retrograde. It can sometimes put pressure on things, and it can potentially, especially with the fact that we've got Chiron and Eris retrograding together, it can put pressure on things that we're really, really sensitive about. Like it's a lot of this, does it hurt when I do this kind of thing? But here's the thing. Sometimes the ability to say like, yeah, it does, and it should, and this is why, allows for the ability or the context to be able to articulate upon something in a way that allows for an energetic breakthrough. And I feel like that's what we're effectively seeing that's happening right now across all of the frequencies. For a lot of the energy right now in separation, remember what I said? The mutual, like the expression of the understanding of mutual audacity that feels like it fortifies. I'm telling you right now, there's either energy right now in separation that is working on healing from something. And I keep on seeing that this is either energy, like the identification of something from the past coming back towards them, either in a space of progress, being able to bring something energetically progressive to a situation, or the identification of someone who just believes their arrival to check if there's still a problem. Like this is what I keep on seeing, the energy that's able to recognize and identify the difference between someone that's trying to progress, right? Someone that's trying to bring progress to a situation versus someone who is hoping that another person would be pining so much that they would let go of a standard, right? This is why I see that that's a lot of the energy right now, holding tightly to their vulnerability, because their vulnerability, when they put compassion to it, shows them things, because they start to heal from the illusion of rejection. And on the other side of rejection, once you heal from the illusion of rejection, you're able to see with clarity what's energetically occurring, right? Because I keep on hearing, like, what are we seeing right now for a lot of these new relationships forming? A lot of these new relationships that are forming are almost showing each other their vulnerability and articulating a standard. And what are they effectively saying to one another? I would never allow the context by which, like, your vulnerability is a gift. It's not something that should be weaponized against you. Your vulnerability is something that is energetically protective. And that's why I told you that there's like a little bit of this force field energy that we see is occurring right now in a lot of these relationships, because it's the observation or recognition of the supportive partnership that they articulate upon their frustration. And what do they get? They get the mutual affirmation in terms of seeing something and feeling energetically supportive through it. A lot of that adaptability that we see that is occurring there. While for a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, this is feeling very energetically difficult right now, because for a lot of the energy right now working through this deep within divine union, this is not being too hard on the self, right? This is allowing a little bit of that energetic compassion in. And I almost feel like for some of the energy deep within divine union, I keep on hearing that there's a lot of that work that they articulate and identify to each other, which is the amplification of not feeling like one has to be perfect, but allowing for the context of being able to identify and recognize what you're working on doing better. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, like working through a vulnerability, but being in the context of being productive upon it. I keep on hearing like a lot of that energy is articulating upon problems. Like that is the energy that is bringing new ideas to problems or bringing new breakthrough points, specifically and particularly because it is the context by which they identify. I keep on seeing like that over pressure that they may put upon themselves as it relates to being able to, like, I keep on hearing it's not about being perfect. It's about recognizing like what the work needs to be done and being energetically productive through it. Bottom of the deck on today's reading, there's that Nine of Swords in its reversal. Now, the Nine of Swords in its reversal is very interesting because I believe we had that card. That same card was appearing, I believe in yesterday. Was it the card that we received yesterday that we saw that was actually at the bottom of the deck? We've been getting that Nine of Swords a lot. And the thing about it is, I'm not surprised to see the Nine of Swords arriving so much right now in the context of this retrograde, because it can feel very much like things that would typically, and I just kind of articulate this, things that would typically be moving smoothly, like reach those crimp points. They start to reach those points where we get very frustrated, things get harder. But I keep on seeing that like that is allowing for the point of being able to find our point of strength upon something, because the ability to be energetically adaptable isn't one. I keep on hearing like you don't throw your hands up in the modality of experiencing something that's challenging. It allows for that ability or that solution to be able to be energetically creative in relationality to how one is addressing or working through an energetic problem. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now with that Nine of Swords, it's the context of, and I'll kind of like give you this. Often when we're working through energy like this, it's the space by which we want to try harder. Right? Like this is a little bit of that work that we have to do as we're like navigating into an Aquarian full moon. Like we want to get really minute. We want to get really hard on ourselves. We want to get like really hard in terms of like what it is that we should be doing in a better way. But often when we're able to be like, when we're able to allow for that point of compassion in, we're able to step back. We're able to see something that we're trying to do in a better way. It helps us see the bigger picture. So if you're feeling a lot of this intensity right now as it relates to this energy, I don't want you to get hard on yourself. I want you to get kind to yourself. I want you to say to yourself, how can I bring kindness into the situation? How can I be kinder to myself through this moment? How can I be kinder right now in the experience that I'm having? Because a lot of that adaptability and being able to energetically work through something, I keep on seeing there's a lot of productivity on the other side of it, but a lot of it starts in the point or the period of being able to amplify and articulate upon those points of compassion. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who attended our recent class on the Devil card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, August 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Tower card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you a recap on everything we have studied prior to beginning our next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned or studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also have access to the entire library of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That's over 15 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals moving forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also have access to my Mystic Meditation articles. I'll be releasing one shortly on how to navigate that full moon that we have coming up. And all you need to do if you'd like to have access to that is head over to my Substack. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again